The center that we're launching right now is really designed to be kind of multifaceted. We'll be looking at Industry 4.0, smart manufacturing, digital manufacturing, whatever you want to call this revolution, and generating research, providing insight into our teaching, but also as this revolution unfolds over the next few years, on out into the 2020s and beyond, we'll continue to track those trends. And what struck me as I was coming over here this afternoon, I was thinking about this center, and I was also thinking a bit about my career and us being baby boomers, the information age in the 80s, then you saw the internet and e-commerce, the rise of global markets and global supply chains, the rise of the service economy. And this is literally the fifth revolution that I've seen in my lifetime. And that's kind of been a hallmark at the Kelley School, where we create centers. We want to get in front of the action, and we want to contribute to managers, to students along the journey. And we also want to kind of document where we were and eventually where we end up.
What do you see as the potential for this center, especially sitting right here in the first or second most manufacturing intensive state in the country, with all these manufacturers around us, but the potential that this center has to impact students, but also companies?
Yeah, we have a very unique opportunity here in Indiana to really participate in this revolution. In terms of our research, there's over 8,000 manufacturers within a short drive of us. We already are engaging some of those manufacturers in discussions. Going forward this spring and into the summer, we'll continue to reach out, visit factories, talk to managers, talk about their strategies, talk about their needs, talk about their goals. But we're also taking that information and bringing it back to the classroom. And this summer, we're rolling out a new elective around strategic thinking and leadership in our MBA program. And starting in the spring, January of 2019, we'll be rolling out a similar course in our undergrad business program. So the goal, again, is to generate knowledge to help companies. We'll be doing things in terms of engaging managers in discussions and also events, but maybe even more importantly, helping train the next generation of managers, both the entry-level managers coming out of our undergrad programs and the MBAs being mid-career managers who want to move on up through the ranks and eventually lead these companies.
Now talk about that, because obviously benefits potentially to undergrads, but also many of those mid-career professionals who want to get to that next level or maybe that ultimate level at a manufacturer. This program and this center will be a nice fit for those folks.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I'm sure, again, I've heard it on your program many times, and yourself and others talking about the baby boomers leaving, many of them within a few years of retirement. Not as many young people necessarily today going into the field. Huge opportunity in front of them. And if anything, it reminds me of when I was a young manager. I graduated in my undergrad program in 1980 and took a risk, went into manufacturing, and here I am 30 some odd years later talking to you and leading a research area, a center in this area. And all through my career as a manager, working for one of the major consulting firms as an academic, it's been an incredibly rich and rewarding career. And what I think our students will find as they move into this career path is similar opportunities and something, too, a career that can engage them all the way throughout the rest of their business career.
The generous gift to make this possible, you maybe talk a little bit about that in terms of the IU alum who reach great heights in the manufacturing world.
Absolutely, yeah. Gregg Sherrill and his family together have been very generous with us. A few years ago, Gregg, he was then the CEO of Tenneco, chairman of the board. He just recently retired. But Gregg started coming back and spending time with our students, not just an hour or two as a guest speaker, but days with our students. He listened to what they were talking about. He began to understand their career aspirations. He started thinking back on his own career, coming out of a engineering technical kind of a discipline and eventually rising to the top of a Fortune 200 manufacturer. And he also began to think about some of the decisions he was making, the strategic decisions, et cetera. And so his motivation was to have an impact with young students, similar to what I said, that manufacturing has been very good to us in terms of our own careers. But also he wants students, MBAs in particular, to have some strategic insight to be able to make these kinds of really critical decisions they're going to need to as they rise up through their organizations.
Final question, and this, it seems to me this center really gets to the heart of wanting to connect with, having the school connect with the manufacturers to really understand what they need, the current day, the present day, and future needs of the industry.
Oh yes, absolutely. And if anything, I'm excited about that. I mean, we know the questions right now in 2018 to ask. We have the courses in place. But as we go forward into 2019, 2020, 2025 and beyond, things will change. We're going to be in a unique situation here in Indiana to be right on the leading edge with all of our great Hoosier manufacturers as they go through this journey, giving advice in some cases, but also kind of monitoring and chronicling their decisions along the way. And as we learn things, putting it right back into our curriculum. And then, of course, many of our students choose to stay here in Indiana. They thrive in manufacturers when they give that industry a chance. And over the next decade and beyond, they'll rise up through the ranks and be the next generation of leaders here in the Hoosier State.